Every morning, a city rises and vanishes. It happens not suddenly, but softly, as if the sky itself is pulling a curtain across rooftops, bridges, and lives. And when the fog arrives, everything is gone. The skyline, the streets, even the sun. This is a city that disappears every morning. Not in fiction, not in myth, but in reality. And science has a name for it: advection fog. But the story is far more beautiful than any weather forecast can explain. This isn't just one city. It happens in multiple corners of the world. Places where land meets ocean, where cold water meets warm air, and where geography creates ghosts. You'll find it in San Francisco, California, where the Golden Gate Bridge disappears into white almost daily. In Cape Town, South Africa, where fog rolls over Table Mountain like a waterfall. And in Cherrapunji, India, one of the wettest places on Earth, where entire villages vanish into cloud each morning. These cities don't vanish by magic. They vanish because the Earth is breathing. To understand this vanishing act, we need to understand fog itself. Fog is a cloud that touches the ground. But not just any cloud. It's made when warm, moist air meets a cold surface, like ocean water or a chilly valley. When the air is cooled below its dew point, water droplets form, suspended in the air. These droplets scatter light. They block detail. They erase lines between sky, land, and people. This isn't rain. This isn't mist. This is a temporary disappearance of the visible world. Few cities are as famous for fog as San Francisco. Locals even gave it a name, Carl the Fog, complete with a Twitter account. But behind the humour lies one of the most consistent meteorological events in the US. Here's why it happens. The Pacific Ocean is cold, cooled by the California current. Inland California, especially in summer, gets extremely hot. That heat creates low-pressure zones that suck cool, moist air inland. As the ocean air moves through the Golden Gate, the only sea level gap in the mountains, it condenses into fog. This creates a flowing blanket that drapes over the bay, the bridges, and the buildings, often before sunrise, and sometimes staying all day. In these cities, fog isn't a random visitor. It follows a rhythm. Early morning. The land is still cool. The air is calm. Fog creeps in silently. Mid-morning. The sun rises, warming the ground. The fog begins to thin. By noon, it often lifts, revealing blue skies, golden light, and buildings that feel new again. This cycle repeats almost every day in places like San Francisco and Cherrapunji. It's not dangerous, it's not destructive, but it's deeply emotional. Because for a few hours every morning, the world becomes uncertain. And then, almost magically, it returns. Fog does more than change the weather. It changes perception. When familiar things, buildings, roads, horizons, are hidden, the human brain enters a state of quiet alertness. It begins to imagine what's missing. It fills in blanks. It questions space. In heavy fog, you might feel like time slows down, sounds become distant, objects lose their edges. It's not just what you see. It's how your brain reacts to seeing less. This isn't just poetic. It's backed by neuroscience. The brain is designed to seek contrast and clarity. Fog removes both, triggering a low-level sense of mystery, even anxiety. That's why vanishing cities feel so dreamlike, because your mind is forced to imagine what it can't quite see. In the hills of northeast India, the village of Cherrapunji is famous for its rain, but every morning it disappears. Fog here is thick, almost touchable. It wraps around homes, trees, and people like a living thing. Farmers walk through white tunnels. Children walk to school inside clouds. And the sky seems to fold down to the ground itself. This is radiation fog, slightly different. Here, moist ground, cooled by the night, loses heat quickly. the air just above it condenses. And by morning, the village is gone from view. It returns by midday. But for those few hours, it feels like a village floating in the sky. In some places, fog isn't just visual, it's vital. In the Atacama Desert, one of the driest places on Earth, fog is the only water source. Locals use fog nets, large mesh panels, to collect droplets from the air. The fog is called camanchaca, and without it, nothing would grow. In Namibia, desert beetles climb dunes in the early morning, raise their backs, and catch fog droplets to survive. Even in California, redwood trees absorb moisture directly from fog, hydrating their needles without rainfall. So when a city disappears each morning, it might not be a loss, it might be a gift. But fog isn't always beautiful. In cities like London or Delhi, fog can become smog. Pollution trapped in the air due to lack of wind and sun. This leads to health risks, respiratory issues, reduced visibility accidents, flight delays and transportation shutdowns. Fog plus pollution tanks haze, and that's a growing concern in urban centres worldwide. Even in clean fog cities like San Francisco, drivers fear sudden low visibility, especially on bridges and highways. So, while the vanishing of a city may look poetic, it comes with real consequences. And yet, people seek it out. Photographers chase fog at dawn. Writers use it as metaphor. Spiritual traditions speak of fog as a threshold between worlds, between clarity and mystery, between day and night, between now and then. In Japan, fog over a forest is seen as a sacred veil. In poetry, it represents memory, uncertainty, and change. In film, fog hides monsters or reveals emotion. Fog is what we don't fully know, hovering quietly between what we remember and what we see. The city will return. The buildings will reappear. The roads will unfold from the white. But for those early hours, before the sun reclaims the skyline, the world is quiet. The outlines blur, and we are reminded. Sometimes things need to vanish for us to truly see them, and sometimes the most beautiful parts of our planet are the ones that are only partly visible.